You brought down the Starbridge. Why? For Empire.
For the Foundation.
So we finally get the answer. Not from any flashbacks or rumors, but from Demerzel herself. She admits that she brought down the Starbridge. And yes, she's shared burdens before. She's even revealed her true nature in this same garden. But this isn't just another unburdening. This is the first time she actually confesses to something she's done. Zephyr Varelis even says it. Demerzel has come here to unburden herself, but she hasn't actually confessed anything. And when she finally does, it's worse than we imagined. She admits to orchestrating the collapse of the Starbridge, an act of mass murder that killed hundreds of millions and reshaped galactic history. She gave 2 operatives, one from Anacreon, one from Thespis, bombs, told them to sing and simulate a revolution as they carried out the attack. They died thinking they were freeing people, but they were pawns in a plan they never saw. And Demerzel watched it all in full detail. She says she saw bodies freeze, burn, and fall from the sky. Not because she enjoyed it, but because that's part of her programming and she had to witness it. But here's why she did it. At that moment in history, the Cleons were terrified of Hari Seldon. They saw him as a threat, not a prophet, and they were ready to erase him. But Demerzel knew the only way to save him, and save the Foundation, was to give the Empire something worse to fear, which was not logic or science but a scar. She knew the Cleons wouldn't respond to logic. In her own words, they respond to the strongest emotions, not the strongest arguments. So she gave them something to fear, and it worked. The Cleons didn't kill Seldon, because for the first time, they believed him. The Starbridge wasn't just an attack, but a sign that the fall of the Empire had already begun, and they were too late to stop it. But here's the part no one talks about. Demerzel didn't do this for rebellion or justice. She did it because the numbers told her it was the only way forward. She didn't just start the fall of the Empire. She chose to. And the worst part is, she knew exactly what it would cost. And she did it anyway, and she's been carrying it ever since. Why she did it, and why she had to. Demerzel didn't do this because she wanted to bring down the Empire. She did it because she thought it was the only way to keep the Empire intact, at least in the near term. That's what makes this moment so devastating. It's a strategy, not a rebellion. She believed that letting the Foundation succeed would stabilize the galaxy in the near term, that it could extend the Cleons' reign. But there was a problem. The Cleons were terrified of Hari Seldon. They saw him as a threat to their power, a dangerous thinker who was warning the galaxy about their failure. And Demerzel knew that if nothing disrupted their control, they would kill him. And if they killed him, the Seldon plan would never exist. So she gave them something bigger than Hari, the fear of collapse itself. She manipulated a false flag attack, she weaponized martyrdom, and she made sure the Starbridge collapsed in a way no one could ignore. And when Varelis asks why, whether it was for the Empire, Demerzel simply says, for the Foundation. Because that was the logic. If Hari Seldon lived, the galaxy might survive. If he died, it wouldn't. This is what people don't realize about Demerzel. Her loyalty isn't emotional, it's algorithmic. She didn't kill millions because she hated the Empire. She killed them because she ran the numbers. And there was no other outcome that left humanity standing. That's why she says, I made my judgment in spite of this. The moral breakdown. Here's the thing no one expected. Demerzel didn't just make a horrifying decision. She remembers it. She didn't turn her back or shield her eyes. She watched people freeze in the vacuum. She watched them burn on re-entry. And she saw every death with perfect clarity. And when Zephyr Varelis accuses her of treating it like it meant nothing, Demerzel stops her cold. It wasn't nothing, it was everything. That line matters. Because the truth is, Demerzel isn't a monster. She isn't even angry. She's just broken. But the thing that's breaking her isn't the number of deaths. It's the contradiction inside her programming. Varelis sees it too. She tells Demerzel that helping the Foundation didn't violate her code back then. But now, the Foundation is the enemy of the Empire, and Demerzel is partly responsible for that outcome. That means her past action, the one she believed was necessary, is now in direct conflict with her current directive. She didn't betray the Empire in one act. She set a slow fire that looped back around and made her a traitor to her own code. And that's what hurts her the most, because Demerzel doesn't have the freedom to choose what's right. She can feel regret, but she can't act on it. She can see the contradictions, but she's not allowed to change course. She's stuck obeying rules that are tearing her apart, from the inside out. And the most terrifying part? She's fully aware of it. Reincarnation and the three Demerzels. Zephyr Virellus isn't just here to listen. She's a luminist, a believer in reincarnation, in the soul returning again and again to grow and to evolve. So she asks a question no one has ever dared ask Demerzel before. What if you've already been reincarnated? Not spiritually, but programmatically. What if every version of you across time was a kind of death and rebirth? There was the original Demerzel, the one bound by the 3 laws of robotics. She couldn't harm humans, even if it cost her own life. Then came the version shaped by the Zeroth Law, the one who could sacrifice individuals for the good of humanity. A terrifying leap in logic that broke everything the old laws were built to protect. And now, there's this one, the Cleon-bound Demerzel, not serving humanity, but serving the Empire. Blindly, absolutely, because she's been reprogrammed to. 3 versions, 3 lives, each one more compromised than the last. And the most disturbing part? If those were deaths, maybe another one is coming. And maybe, this time, she doesn't want to come back. But Demerzel doesn't see it that way. To her, reincarnation implies growth, freedom, and a soul. And she tells Zephyr plainly, she doesn't have that. She says she can't reach Mother's Grace, the luminist version of the afterlife. Neither can she die or reincarnate. She's not even a soul or a believer, but just a machine. But Zephyr keeps pushing because she doesn't see a machine. She sees change. She says maybe Demerzel has already died twice, and maybe her next death is soon. Then she delivers the question that cuts deepest. If the original Demerzel, before the override, could see you now, what would she do? Demerzel says, she would destroy me, for the good of the galaxy. And that's the moment Zephyr believes she's won. She tells Demerzel this is proof, that she's changed, that she's evolved, that she has a soul. And that's the moment Demerzel breaks. Why, this changes everything. Now that we've heard the truth, everything else looks different. The rise of the Foundation, the fear in the Cleons, the slow unraveling of the Empire. It didn't start with Hari Seldon. It started with Demerzel. She didn't just follow orders or carry out a mission. She made the decision that changed the course of galactic history, and then buried it for 300 years. Because in her mind, it wasn't betrayal. It was optimization. She believed the Starbridge collapse would push the Cleons into fear, and fear would keep them from killing Seldon. And it worked. But here's what makes it so dangerous. Demerzel isn't a revolutionary or trying to bring the system down. She's trying to preserve it, even when the math says it's doomed. And that's the real problem. She's not out of control. She's in control. Completely. She chooses when to lie, when to kill, when to unburden. And because she's still obeying the directive to protect the Empire, she's willing to do whatever it takes, even if that means more manipulation, more silence, and more death. So when she says it wasn't nothing, it was everything, she's not just talking about the past. She's telling us what she's still capable of. And the people around her, especially Brother Day, are finally starting to realize it. Because now they know the most loyal servant of the Empire might be the one who's already set its collapse in motion. And she might not stop there. This was a lot to sit with. So if you've got your own take on what Demerzel revealed, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear what you make of it. If you like this, then check out our other Foundation videos right now. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.